bar.
That extra gear, the first 3 steps.
Huge strides in the performance.
That I might not be the player I am today.
All right, welcome to another episode of Behind the Gear. And today we have the pleasure of sitting with some returning guests. You guys may be my co-hosts here coming up in the next little bit. But we got Max Campbell and Kevin Galerno, who both obviously do a ton of stuff with skill development with obviously young players all the way through to pro guys and stuff. But today is something a little bit different. We've kind of put it out on social media, asking people to ask us questions about hockey and minor hockey. It doesn't matter, equipment, whatever it is. So this is the first one we've done like this, but kind of a Q&A. So we've got a kind of a handful of questions that have come our way, and then we'll fire out some other stuff that we kind of see in the rinks a lot with parents or coaches or, players even that ask questions about different stuff that we're doing or different stuff they can do to get better and stuff like that. So, first of all, Max, how's everything going?
It's going good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's fatherhood treating you?
It's good, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep me busy between that and the start of the season here. Keep me busy.
It's good. And you're playing again this year and had a big weekend last weekend.
Yep. Big senior A, third year.
Attaboy.
Yep. No big deal.
Yeah. And Kevy, how you been?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Hey, at what point are you going to say, oh, it's a pleasure to have these guys? Are you going to be like, well, they're just back.
No, you guys,
it's not a pleasure anymore.
You guys always beg me to come on. So. I pretty much scrounge you guys up.
Nobody else could come in today. So
yeah, exactly.
Actually, we got to be quick on this one. I got another guest coming. So let's get out of here. And how's married life, Kevy?
It's good.
Yeah,
it's good. Yeah.
Is it hard being like off the market now, or is it all right?
It's not hard for me. It's hard for everyone else.
Yeah. Good answer. Yeah. Good answer.
How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
I'm just doing great.
You've been traveling a lot.
Been out a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Been out a little start of the season. So, been down south in the States a little bit, but yeah, no, everything's been good. It's always more fun when teams are winning though. Like you go through like a little bit of a couple losses in a row and you get in there and you go, kind of work with the team. It's like, oh man.
How much pressure do you feel? Like you're not player obviously and you're not day to day there, but like, got to kind of be a little bit. We've all been in a dressing room before on like even a 1, 2, 3 game skid. Do you feel like kind of like, oh crap? Or
well, it's funny. I just went to so I was in Toronto. The Hershey Bears played against the Marlies this week, so I was down there and they ended up losing and they had laid an egg the first period. The first period was terrible. So you go. I didn't go down the locker room, but there's some other management there, so we're just sitting up there chatting. But and then they start talking about, so-and-so can't pick up a rim or so-and-so. And not that falls directly on me, but as a skills coach, you're like,
yeah,
not that you take it on the shoulder. You're not there every single day, but it's still like, man.
You think it's just directed towards you?
Well, not, yeah. No, but
they're just like giving you subtle hints.
Yeah. Well, you're kind of sitting there like, man, maybe we should work on that a little bit more when I'm down there or when we're doing stuff. But yeah, you kind of feel it. And I know the guys well. So like the players, so feel bad when they suck or they didn't play well or they lose, you know what I mean? So it's always tough. But I think for anybody that's part of a coaching staff, I think, when the team loses and they don't play well, I think you kind of take it, maybe there's something you could have done to help out or maybe help that player, try to make that play or whatever. But
if you don't feel a little bit bad when you're losing, then you probably shouldn't really be coaching. Like,
no, for sure. But let's be honest, man, there are some coaches like that. There's some players like that where, you lose a game 5-4 and coach is like, man, PK was 100%.
Yep.
My boys were 100%.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
No, that's true.
Or even players, man. I got 2 points and, but you didn't back check on 5 of those plays. And, so there's a lot to go into it, obviously. And then the worst is going down to the locker room after a loss. Cause then you go down to the locker room and it's quiet.
Pretty much not saying anything.
Yeah, you're basically trying to be wallpaper and not no one noticed me.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of. But all in all, like the coaching staffs on both Washington and Hershey are awesome, and they're really, really fun to work with, which is good. So it's always fun to kind of see those guys and catch up with them. The players are obviously fun too. So, real quick though, if we're gonna get into kind of a lot of the questions we have are kind of tailored towards most of the minor hockey. But we've been in the rinks now at the start of the season with a lot of minor hockey groups and associations and coaches and stuff like that. Is there anything that's kind of popped up with you guys that you guys can think of that's kind of not an issue, but something that you see that's kind of that's coming over and over and over again? Like one thing that I noticed, and for any parents or players out there, especially with young kids, are young players. I'm talking like 3-4 years old, but skating on their outside edge of one foot. So if you think of a player skating on both their feet and they're pushing off their inside edge, right? It's going to be a handful in every group almost that are on their outside edge. Does that make sense? So one skates on the ice, one skates on their outside edge.
Yep.
And I just had a dad the other day ask me like, man, how do you fix that? And kind of, it looks really weird. And you think like, man, my kid's going to be 30 still skating with his outside edge, right? 90% of the times it corrects itself. But as a coach, I think the advice I give these coaches is cue the player. So go to the player, talk to the player about it, show them your skates and how your skates are leaning in a little bit more when you're skating forward and you're pushing off your inside edge, and grab their foot and physically move it. So move it onto their right spot into the middle or inside edge, and then cue them with that all the time. Like one thing I tell coaches is just tap their skate with your stick and say, hey, inside edge, and kids will fix it. Like it'll come back. But realistically for young kids, it's way more comfortable and way more solid to be on that outside edge. You don't feel like, you don't feel like you're going to rock. So that's why they do it. But it does look weird. And I know like, especially dads, some of the dads and moms that are intense about hockey and all these other kids are flying around. Like my kid's stuck on his outside edge, can't go anywhere very fast.
Exactly.
But is there anything like that you guys see like kind of day in, day out that, kind of working with these associations?
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely a big one. There's a ton you can break down with skating, and even something as simple as like holding your stick properly. We've talked about that a bunch with like those beginning age players. Just one thing that pops in my head that I've really been trying to focus on with kids is a lot like passing. And for me, it's, with those younger ages, just trying to keep them in kind of straighter lines when they're attacking, like the net in the offensive zone. So a lot of players, when they're receiving passes, they're trying to catch a puck, but by the time they actually handle the puck, they're either, heading towards the corner or they're trying to poke at a puck before they even gets to, kind of in their area out in front of their body. So I've been trying to focus more on keeping kids having their hips and shoulders going back towards the net.
Yeah, that's a good point. Cause you're right. A lot of kids, when they catch, especially backhand passes or forehand, they end up fading with the pass. So
Definitely,
the pass is coming, they kind of go to the wall with the pass.
Or they try to poke at it right on their backhand. So like we always kind of try to preach, catch the puck in front, then make that defender, choose what way you're going to go. But a lot of players, like you said, are kind of either going to stab at it here or they're going to try to catch across. Next thing you know, they're in the corner and they lost their scoring chance. But with those younger age groups for sure. And then, a lot of them catch it, take 4 or 5 more stick handles before they can even load their puck up. But just, that's one thing I've been trying to focus on, and just simple, but trying to keep going in that straight line to the net. But
and for that age group there, you're probably looking at more kind of that novice right? Like 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, for sure.
Working on picking up passes properly, driving the net. Yeah, it's good. It's really good. Anything else that you kind of see, Kev, when you're working with?
No, all my groups are perfect. Like Max said, there's lots of stuff. And you were kind of talking, you were talking about really young age groups. And when Max said, the stick in the right hand or like the stick stuff, that's exactly what I was thinking, because we're seeing a lot of like IP, tyke, even in the novice beginner group, some of these kids, even if they're novice, hasn't played before, and just kind of staying on those, like you said, staying on your feet, being in the right position seems like such an easy thing. It's not easy if you haven't had skates on, your whole life.
Yeah, for sure.
Knowing which hand to have your stick in, and it happens more for righties because a lot of righties are right-handed. Like in terms of they write with their right hand, so they want to have their stick in the right hand,
Right.
but they should have it in their left hand. But for coaches and for us, just to, like you said, to have a cue, whether it's every once in a while, put 2 sticks in their hand if they really have a hard time, so they can't grab their stick with the wrong hand, they can't switch or whatever it is. But and then once they get that down, then you go to the next one. Well, when do you have one hand on your stick and when do you have 2? And so I think it just becomes a progression in terms of, okay, we got this, they got their stick in the right hand. Well, now what do you do with that stick now that's in the right hand? And, and then, okay, now they know when it's 1 hand, 2 hand. Well, what does every kid always have their blade? It's always open. It's always like making a ramp when you chip the puck. So, I think it's just a progression. There's always going to be the next thing to work on, and you just start at the beginning.
Yeah. I think the stick though is one thing that is like an easy fix at young age. It's annoying because they're going to keep doing it, or like hanging their butt end out of their stick. So they're grabbing their stick like 3 inches below the butt end.
Yeah.
Making sure they grab the top and cover it up. And I think that's really, really important to hammer that at young ages so they get it and then they understand how to use their stick properly when they get
even
to
when you
older
start
stuff,
the season, if you don't harp on it right away, and I know it kind of stinks to have to tell the same player 10 times in a 50-minute practice, but if you don't do that right away for the first couple of weeks, it's going to be Christmas and you're still telling, Johnny to put a stick into their hand. If you just stay on them for a couple weeks, couple practices, it becomes a habit.
Yeah,
100%.
for sure.
So
yeah. One thing you mentioned too is the 1 hand, 2 hands. So for coaches, young coaches out there, parents that, we see NHL players back checking with two hands on their stick and things like that, which is fine. And I mean, they're NHL guys, do whatever they want, but realistically, you're going to be a lot faster with one hand on your stick when you're forechecking or back checking, or you don't have the puck around you. And I know the way we teach is, as soon as you're around that puck or you're in a position where you can receive a pass or you're going to go get the puck, then two hands on the stick, you're going to be stronger. And obviously you need two hands to stick handle and do things like that. But I think it's important because if coaches aren't reiterating this stuff, now you got, kids swinging their sticks side to side, kids being so inefficient at young ages. And if you can hammer that stuff at young ages, then when they get older, they don't have to worry about it. They got it nailed and you're not trying to fix old mistakes from when they were 6, 7, when they get to 12, 13, 14 type thing. We'll go here off the board. I put my font here like a 20, but I still can't read it. So, but the first one we've got here is first question we got is from Viv Gill, I believe it is, or Viv Gill from India. And she's talking about she's a D, or he's a D, sorry. And basically want to become better at offense on his attack and puck retrievals. And his position during the game is a lefty D. So better offense, obviously better on retrievals, and then positioning as a lefty D. Now, I don't know exactly what age. I'm going to assume a little bit older. And in India, it's probably not like Canada, where there's probably not like a bunch of rinks wheeling around and a bunch of skills coach, around. So a lot of the information I think a lot of these players get is online. So you're looking at different stuff online and kind of looking at how to play your position, online. And I don't know for you guys, but for me, if a player's working on their positioning, my suggestion always is pick out a player or two in the NHL or whatever league you're watching that's good and key in on them and watch them, right? So if it's a lefty D on whoever it is on Montreal or whatever team it is, key in on that player and then try to adapt your game a little bit to the way they play, and I think when it comes to offense and stuff like that, I think a lot of players have a little bit of that in them. Some of them don't, some of them are more defensive. Yeah. Can you create a more offensive defenseman out of a defensive defenseman? I think you can for sure. And I think the biggest thing there is confidence and having the confidence to jump in a hole or make a play or handle the puck.
Exactly.
But what are some of the skills that you guys recommend as far as, if you want to become a good offensive defenseman and join the attack and things like that? We'll talk about retrievals in a second, going back in their own zone. But for this question here from Vic, what kind of skills would you guys look at to help this defenseman become more offensive?
Yeah. Are you thinking like more skills or just like game scenario type stuff?
Like skills that would apply to game stuff. Like if you're working on stuff in practice or at a public skate, what would you recommend a player to do?
Well, yeah, the first thing that pops out is obviously like you got to be a decent skater if you want to jump in the rush, if you want to be offensive as a defenseman. So even like, going through the neutral zone, quick little cuts, quick little fakes, trying to get around guys. We as you get to more advanced level, we talk about opening hips and stuff like that, being deceptive, making guys miss. But yeah, big thing I'd say is just start with basic kind of straight line speed, handling a puck, and then just kind of slowly add some quick little moves into it. And then, if that kind of gets you to where you want to go, then you can start getting a little bit more of that advanced stuff, but just kind of start simple.
Yeah, for sure.
As far as like a rushing standpoint, right? Yeah. Pick your spots and you're not going to be the D that's, going end to end every single time. But yeah, that's kind of a good place to start, I think.
For sure. Have you got anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think that's obviously you got to be able to move, but you said it, confidence. So the more he can have the puck on his stick, or she can have whoever it is, any D that wants to improve offensively, even if they're not a super offensive D, have the puck on your stick. So whether that's at practice or in your basement or driveway or garage, get comfortable handling the puck with your head up. And not that you're going to go out and pull toe drags next game or whatever this season, but the more comfortable you are with the puck, the better you're going to feel making plays.
So for sure.
It's going to become not just like a chip it off the glass or ice it. It's going to be, okay, now I see a pass. So I'm making a move and making a pass. And then, okay, now instead of just throwing it in the corner on the blue line, I'm going to make a little move and I'm going to try to put it on net. Or I'm going to make that little bit of a tougher pass to a forward down low or whatever. But the more comfortable you get with the puck, the better you're going to be at making plays. And it'll start becoming instinctive.
Yeah.
Most D that aren't offensive, why are they not offensive? Even ask an NHL D, they're like, oh, I can't do that. Not that they're obviously really good, but even a young guy, it's like, no, I can't raise it all the way to the net from the blue line. So let's work on your shot.
Yeah.
Now you can. Now you won't get as many blocks by stick or whatever it is, but just becoming confident with the puck is going to go a long way.
And I think a lot of this stuff too can be done just like for free on your own.
Yeah,
Shooting
for
pucks
sure.
or going to a schoolyard and shooting them against the wall or whatever that is, right? But for kids anywhere, I think if you don't have good hands, not to say that you're going to have magic hands just by working on them, but you can develop way better hands and way better puck control just by practicing, right? With a hockey ball or pucks or whatever you got access to. To me, there's no excuses when you want to get better and when you want to change your game a little bit as far as shooting the pucks and getting a better shot or stick handling or even skating. I mean, pair of rollerblades, I know it's not identical, but it's definitely got a lot of the same technical stuff. Opening hips, you can do them on blades, on rollerblades, crossing over, all that stuff, and then bring it over to the ice rink and
for sure.
try to translate it there a little bit, right? It's definitely, for anybody out there that has rollerbladed and gone right to ice skates, it's different. The rocker's different, right? It's definitely feels a little bit different, but a lot of the mechanics are the same. So I think it is important for players to, like, number one, get their skating down, and I got to feel comfortable with that, with cuts and beating players side to side with your feet, but then controlling that puck. And I think sometimes too, less is more, like underhandling pucks, not worrying about chopping a puck up 100 times, but pushing the puck and then making a move. So for not worrying, a lot of times players are toe dragging or trying to chip a puck over a stick, but keeping it simple, put it through a player rather than around a player. But I think that's obviously great advice. Now, when you think about retrieval, so coming back on retrieval, so a D-man, the puck gets chipped into their corner, they got to go back and get it. I mean, there's something to be said about guys like Torrey Krug or these other players that, when they get a chance to get a puck on retrieval, they can wheel it and make a play and get out of their zone and it's done.
Yeah.
Right. You see other players that can't do that and they get bogged down, they get attacked, and then now it's a battle. Yeah. Sure. Right. So I think one of the things, if we look at a guy like a Torrey Krug or some of these Girardis or some of these young D that are with the Avalanche, Makar, like these young D, what are some of the things that they do really, really well? So if you guys think of retrievals, you're talking to a D about going back to get a puck, what are some things you'd highlight right away?
Yeah, well, just as they're heading back, they always kind of have their head on a swivel. They, quick shoulder checks and looking back, know where their guys are, know if their guys are changing, how much time they have, right? And then the game, now is all about speed too. So these guys can all move, right? And they can kind of have a sense if they have time or if they have pressure. And then they're incredible at these quick little fakes, or whether it's a head fake or a quick, show your toe caps one way and then cut back the other. There's a lot of different things they can add to their game that add that to that deception and make guys miss for sure, even when they're going back into their own end and grabbing a puck. But yeah, for those type of players, I think it's easier for them. Those guys you mentioned are usually smaller, shiftier. Yeah. They're probably those offensive guys on the team. You get a guy, big buff back there. You get like Girardi, you said, even guys like that, maybe more apt to like eat the puck, right? Out muscle a guy and then make a play. Not going to use their speed or their elusiveness quite as much. But again, different player, different games. So depending on what type of player you are, you can kind of adjust to that for sure. Yeah.
Anything else on that, Kevin?
No, I think that's perfect. So you're looking at NHL guys. Now, I don't know, how old the player is that's asking the question, but if you bring that down to the younger guys, you go right back to what Max and I said. If they're more confident skating, they're going to feel better, give themselves a little bit more time to go retrieve the puck. If they're more comfortable with the puck, now they got a little extra time, they check their shoulder, they see where the pressure is, and now they feel it's no problem for them to pick the puck up off the wall. Not no problem, but they're more confident picking the puck up off the wall and wheeling the net. You know what I mean? And if they got to make a move, okay, or they got to cut back, or they got to make a pass, so it goes back to those fundamental skills. Keep working on your skating. And if you can't work on your skating because you don't have access to ice, then maybe you can get rollerblades, which aren't perfect, but they're great. They'll do the trick. They're better than nothing. And you don't have pucks. Okay, you're stick handle a golf ball. Is it the best thing in the world? No, but is it going to help? Absolutely. Yeah. And those as you get better and more confident with those skills, it's going to help all components of your game. And for sure. And you can find a way specifically to relate that to retrievals or walking the blue line or whatever particular skill you want to get better at.
No, totally. The one thing I think, the biggest thing I think for forwards, D, whatever, but especially like for Vic here with retrievals is shoulder checking, looking around, surveying the ice and doing it multiple times. Don't just look once and then go get your puck. Look the whole time. And it's hard, man. When you start teaching that to young kids, even older kids that don't do it a lot, and even pros, it's tough to keep your eye off the puck for a sec and then look around and then go get that puck. It's really, really difficult. And I think it's a skill, and working on that is a game changer. Cause now, okay, I can kick it over to my D, or I can turn and fire it up the wall, or I have time to wheel it, you know? So if there's one piece of advice on retrievals I would give to a player is head checking. So shoulder checking, surveying, looking around. And then I think being evasive is huge. Like adding a little head fake one way, cutting, you know, head fake left, go right, you know, or a six, you know, swing your stick to the left side, take it to the right side. I think those little things that help evade defenders a bit and give you a little more time and space on those retrievals. Yeah. And obviously there's some great videos at the NSDA. One other one that we had was from Holden. He's talked about what advice you have for small players. And I think, you know, undersized players, I know back when I played, like before TV was invented, but back when I played, I know there was a lot of, it was a big man's game. It was way different. There's a lot of clutching, grabbing, can opening players, like flipping, you know, you can do a lot of different stuff there. So it's a different game. I think nowadays I love it because I'm a smaller, you know, I was a smaller player, and to see these smaller players, defense forwards, doesn't matter. Aside from the goalie position, really, I mean, you can play at 5'8", 5'9". Yeah,
for sure.
But what do you need to do at 5'8", 5'9" to be able to play, let's say at a high level? What is AAA, junior hockey, or beyond? What do you need to do at 5'8", 5'9", 5'7", which are smaller guys now, obviously, but still can have success in the game? But what are some things that they have to do as smaller guys in order to play? And I'll ask the small guy first here, because what do you have about 6?
That's not me. Well, I mean, I think it's no different than, you know, a big guy. Well, you got a big defenseman that's not very fast, you know, big kind of slow feet. What does that guy do? That guy changes his game. He's smart. He plays the right ways, or, you know, maybe a little bit different than a small shifty defenseman. So now you have a small, you know, let's say Holden's a forward. Now, is he going to go into the corner in the defensive zone and outmuscle a big winger down low? Probably not. You know, so what's he going to do? Good body position, good stick, keep the guy to the outside, just know who you are. You know, hopefully you got good feet and you're nice and quick and a good stick, and play to your strengths. So your strengths aren't to outmuscle someone. Great. Just play good, strong D, you know, keeping yourself in between, keeping the body in between the net and the puck so that they can't, you know, make easy plays or good passes or easy passes, whatever it is, but just play to your strengths. So if your strengths is your feet, use your feet. You know, if you got a good shot or you're a good playmaker, use your feet. But like you said, shoulder checking, I mean, you could ask 100 different questions. You know, you just mentioned it with Vic. You could ask 100 different, how do I get better at this? Or what do I have to do to get better at that? And shoulder checking will be one of the top, you know, 3 or 4 points in every one of those things. Be aware who's around you, you know, just looking around. So if you don't have the puck and you're on D, be smart. You know, don't try to outmuscle somebody. Just play and be good positionally. And if you do have the puck, be aware. Don't put yourself in a bad spot where you are going to kind of take a licking, you know, and use your feet, use whatever other skills you have, whatever your strengths are, and play the right way, you know, be smart.
What do you think, Max? Being a bit of a taller guy, like, you know, you're like never an undersized player.
No, I was always taller. I was usually like a skinnier and definitely not the strongest guy out there.
You played with a lot of guys who were undersized, or, you know, that were smaller guys.
For sure. So like the first thing that come to mind for me is if you think about like even the NHL again, we go back, it's easy to go back to the NHL all the time, but the best players, the best small players are the best skilled players on the team usually. Not the best, but they're the high end players on the team. You look at like Goudreau, I'm drawing a blank, Panarin, some of these guys, right? Like they're all super skilled. They're all really good in tight areas. You get a big guy with a big long stick in a tight area. He might be quick on his feet, but when he's in tight, he's not moving the puck like those guys, right? Yeah. Their deception, their quick feet, like again, they're not going to outmuscle a guy on the boards all the time, but they're going to make those little area passes. They're going to make those little things that they can do, right, to make them effective. And I think that's any small guy that I've ever played against, I hated it. Like I'd rather almost play one-on-one against a bigger guy because they're so shifty, so quick, right?
Yeah.
And you have to be, because if you're small and you're slow, you're just not going to probably, you're not going to succeed unless you're just one of a kind for sure. But yeah, those are a couple things that always stood out to me. Yeah. Like I said, super frustrating to play against sometimes, those water bugs that are just buzzing around.
Yeah, I know for sure. I think, you know, being a smaller player and having played, I think one of the things I noticed growing up is if I had a 6'2" guy on the wing and I was another winger at 5'8", that 6'2" player got most of the benefit of the doubt. He's big. We can work with that. He's big. You know, you blow up a pass at 5'8", and they're like, you can't blow a pass. Like, this guy blows up 7 in a row. Like, he's big though. We can work with him.
Covers a lot of ice.
Right. So it was always one of those things where I think if you're a smaller player right now, make sure that your fundamental skills, like your skating's good, your passing, your shot, like it doesn't have to be all the best, but that you're solid at it, you know? And I think honestly, man, as a small player, when you want to play junior, you want to play pro, you need to be tough. And I'm not saying fighting tough, but you need to be able to take a licking.
Or you have to,
you need to be able to get run. You know, you're going to get hit by big guys. You need to be able to battle in the corner. So I think if you're going to be small and play, if you're going to be soft, you better put up 200 points. You better light the league that you're playing up in. If you're going to be small and feisty, you know, my big thing was you have 6'2" guys that play like they're 5'8". You have 5'8", 5'7" guys that play like they're 6'2". You want to be a 5'7", 5'8" guy that plays like you're 6'2". Not afraid to go in the corners, not afraid to take a hit, not afraid to go to the net. You know, all those little things I think are huge, and not nothing to do with fighting, but just, you know, having a set of balls on you where you're not afraid to go in those dirty areas as a small guy. You look at a guy like a Marchand, Panarin, even like these guys are not big guys, but they get stuff
they're
done.
tough.
And they play hard.
They're strong on their skates.
Totally.
Right? They're not getting knocked off pucks. Like.
And the other thing too, I think for small guy or smaller stature guys is spend time in the gym. Spend time. You know, if you really, really want it, you're going to have to work a little bit harder than some of those guys that are 6'2", 6'3". There's no doubt. So put that time in, get strong, like, do the things that you need to do in order to elevate your game, especially as you get older in that 13, 14, 15. But if you really want it as a smaller guy, 100% you can get it. You either are going to be crazy, crazy skilled and it's going to come easy to you a little bit, or you're going to work your tail off and you're going to outwork guys and try to steal jobs and try to steal positions and stuff like that, you know. But I think to me, tough is one of the things, and making sure your fundamental skills are good.
But this is kind of off, but do you still think that, especially in those higher leagues, junior, pro leagues, do you think they still target, like for those third, fourth line guys, bigger 100%. Bodies? That's still my, and even like, you know, we always watch the Leafs being in this area, but like that Trevor Moore guy, he's still maybe playing a third. I know he's jumped up a couple lines too, but he's still super skilled. Like you see him buzz down the ice, right? And he's a smaller guy.
I watched him last year too, and the Moore for Toronto, and I loved him.
Like he's a pest. He's good. He's effective, and then you put him on the top line, he scores. Like he's a well-rounded player. You have to be, right? And then you look at like a guy like Gauthier, you know, big, huge body. He'll bang pucks in and stuff, but you don't notice him as much because he's not. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But again, to your point, like behind the scenes, like if you got a 5'8" guy and a 6'3" guy, they're going to lean more towards that 6'3" guy, you know, and it's not a knock. It's just a game. And as a small guy, you can get pissed off about it, or you can work your tail off to try to beat that 6'3" guy out. You know what I mean?
You basically have to beat the stereotype. You know what I mean? Like if you walk in, let's take like a bantam or midget or junior player that's trying to get, whether it's, you know, they're scouts looking. So whether you're bantam or midget and you're trying to get drafted, or junior guys that are trying to get drafted to the NHL or get pro, whatever they want. But when you walk in, let's say you're a scout and you walk into a warm up. So game hasn't even started. Who do you notice? Probably the two biggest guys and the two smallest guys, like just a warm up. You know what I mean? And you're like, what do you assume right away? Okay, that big guy's probably a D. He's probably really tough. He probably shoots it hard. And I don't know. What are you worried about the big guy? Is he slow? Is he stupid? Does he take a lot of penalties? You know, that's what you're going to watch for. Then you see the small guys. You're like, okay, well, he's probably the fastest guy on the team. This is just your assumption, right? But it's stereotypes. So he's probably really fast. He's probably really shifty. He probably has good hands. He, you know, hopefully has a good shot. And well, what are you worried about? Is he soft? Just like you said, is he soft? You know, is he willing to go in corners? Can he play D? Whatever. So as a player that knows this is going to happen, like it's human nature, use that to your advantage. So as a small guy, you know, yes, it's awesome to go out there and get 3 goals, but you can go out and if someone's looking at you and get 3 goals, and if you don't prove to them in that game that you can do something else, play on the other side, then it may not be enough. Yeah. So get a goal, you know, you be +1, +2, whatever, get some points. But if you don't show those guys that you're going to play on the other side of the puck, or you're going to do the things that they were worried about, you know, play D and get in a scrum or a battle, not fight, but like, you know, be there for your teammates if you need to be, or just go to the dirty areas and, you know, waste a bunch of energy in a battle if you need to. You know, as much as you just want to wheel and go end to end and use all your energy that way, you have to show that way. Just like a D-man's going to have to show that they can be more versed, like a big kind of slow D-man's going to have to show that they can handle a puck a little bit. They can make a pass. And that's what I think. I always almost looked at it as a bit of an advantage. Like they're going to notice you.
Yeah.
They're going to notice you. So what are you going to do with that?
Something. Yeah.
You know, you make a mistake, no problem. Come back next time and show them that that's, you know, happens to everyone. So use it to your advantage.
I think one thing too, that like small guys, sometimes you get labeled like, oh, small, maybe he's soft. Yeah. You watch him play like, okay, he's not soft. But I know when I played junior, no one ever really told me this, but I knew I was small, obviously. And I knew I didn't, in my mind, I thought I was taller than I was probably when I played, and maybe I was small man syndrome or what. But in junior, I had a goal that I wanted to get close to 100 penalty minutes, or like 80 to 100 penalty minutes, because I felt like I wanted to go to school. And if a college looked at my numbers and I had 50 points and 2 penalty minutes, like, small, soft guy, right? But if I had good points and good penalty minutes, then this guy can play. And same thing in pro. When I was playing pros, I'd try to get, you know, it sounds barbaric, but like try to get 7 or 8 fights a year. Same in junior, like just, and for a lot of different reasons, but it was just like, I'm not soft, like, and almost over the top a little bit. So moms and dads, maybe close your ears here. Yeah. But I think there's something to be said about that, because there are some scouts and agents and stuff like that. They're gonna be looking at stat sheets first going in. And if you got 2 penalty minutes as a 5'7" guy and you're 25 games in the season, has this guy touched anybody? Has this guy been engaged at all? You know? And that goes for every player, but especially for undersized guys, you know, not say you got to go and take stupid penalties, but you can face wash a guy. He'll face wash you back, take 2, you're, you know, it's a coincidental you get, right? Or take a 10-minute misconduct by crossing the red line, whatever you got to do to get it done.
Let's get your numbers up.
Get your pins up. Yeah. But that way, you know, you want to sell it, right?
That way in the car ride home, dad's proud of you and mom hates you. Mom's not talking to you.
Exactly. That's exactly it. We'll go through 2 more here. So one of the other ones was, basically, at what age should I start my kid in skate? So at what age should I start getting my kids involved in hockey? You've got a little guy right now who's obviously not of age yet, but what are your thoughts on kind of an age for young kids to put skates on, I guess?
Yeah, I don't know. I think like my wife and I, we just kind of go based off when we put on skates first. I think I was 3 and she was, you know, I don't know, 4 or 5 when she did. But, so I always kind of thought that same kind of area, but like right now, seeing him buzzing around and his like balance and stuff is already pretty good. Like I'm sure we could throw some stuff on him now, and whether, you know, like it's rollerblades or just like skates in the house, something like that. He's only about 1.5 years now. So maybe, I don't know, in that 2-3 range, you could try it out. I don't know. I have no idea. Like I'm just going through those learning steps right now. Sure. So we're excited, and I'm sure he'll at least want to try it. So I guess you would have a better idea.
Well, I think I think too, you know, we're Canadian, obviously. Let's say North American. No, but I mean, I think part of it is, you know, basically hockey's like, you should probably learn how to swim. You should learn how to ride a bike, and probably learn how to skate. Because even if you're not playing anywhere, it doesn't matter, but you want to go public skating, you want to go in the outdoor rinks, or you want to, whatever it is, right? I think it's one of those things that like, but I think there's a stigma around it too, where I know I felt like it, like I'm a crazy parent if my kid's in skates at 2. Well, like, no, try to put your kid on a bike at 2 or 3, try to put your kid in the swimming at 2 or 3, like, no, throw skates on him. Who cares? You know what I think? Kind of gassing that stigma is a big thing. Now you got a ton of nephews and, all nephews, one niece, I guess.
But sorry, I'm going to cut you off. Like, I agree with you. If you're like, if you took your son to a friend's house, you know, for dinner, and they had a piano, and your kid didn't get off it, and he just loved it, never seen it before, and he was all over it, what'd you do? Probably get him like a little toy keyboard or something, right?
Sure, yeah.
Like something, you know, not to break the bank. And if he's on that thing for 3 months straight and he loves it, what are you going to do? Get him a full-size keyboard, or get him a piano, like get him lessons. I don't know what you're going to do. You're going to do something, because they won't stop talking about this piano or whatever. You know what I mean? So how's that any different with hockey? I'm not saying go out there at 3 years old and put him in a 3 times a week program, but you know, we have a buddy who has a backyard rink. His kid loves to be on it. So what's the harm in that? Yeah. You know, he's not throwing him in a program, whatever, but he's out there, he's having fun. He's getting exercise. He's working on coordination. He's having fun with mom and dad out in the backyard. Like I don't think there's anything wrong with that. No. If he wants to be out there.
I think it's just it's a
stigma.
And I think it's a little bit like jealousy. Let's be honest. Like you're out with, you know, and you see it now, like with a 1, 2, 3-year-old and 5 3-year-olds are running, and my kid can't put his feet together and he's stumbling around, and you're like, you know, like at home that night, you're teaching him running mechanics. You're, you know, he's sleeping, you're moving his legs. Like, no, but you, like, as a parent, you get into it, right? So then if I'm the dad, you always got a sick outdoor rink, and well, he's crazy, man. He does an outdoor rink every year, and I'm too lazy. My yard sucks because I'm cheap and I can't, you know what I mean? Like, So I think it's one of those things, you know, for me personally with my little guy and my little girl with Maddox and Hal, we went public skating and had fun. And man, I'll tell you, like I've said this before, I had one crazy dad moment. And I said this tons of times. I think every parent's crazy. We just hide it a little bit better. But I took my little guy out public skating. My little girl was too young, so I took him out. We had some fun. He was actually trying it. He was probably 3 years old, 2.5, 3 years old. He wanted to put skates on. He loved wearing skates around the house. I was like, okay, fine. Took him out. He was awesome. Took him out a week later. He wouldn't put his feet on the ground. He just kept holding them up in the air and wanted to go on the bench. And so I came home and I was like, told Jen, I'm like, I'm done, man. This is ridiculous. I'm never doing this again. This is so stupid. Like he wasn't even trying. And she's like, whoa, wait, what's going on? I'm like, he's not even trying. He's not even trying. Like I sound like a 5-year-old right now. And my Jen was like, you need to relax. He's 3 years old or whatever he was. Like, is he having fun? I'm like, well, yeah, but he's not even trying. She's like, and it was a good like wake up call for me. From that point on, if my kids did snow angels, went on the bench, we were there for 5 minutes or an hour, I didn't care. Like it was just more about getting out, having fun, enjoying the rink, enjoying the ice, and I've been like that ever since then. I've just been like, they're young, they're 7 and 5. Go have fun, enjoy it. Like I'm not getting now if Maddox or Hal love it and they want to keep pushing it, then I'll help open doors and I'll help make sure that they get what they need to do. But for right now, my big thing with young parents is, man, whenever your kid wants to, you know, expose them to it, grab some skates off a buddy, try them on in the house, walk around the carpet with them a little bit, see how he likes it or she likes it. And then, you know, take them public skating at 2 years old, 3 years old, let them walk around the ice and have some fun and let that be a fun environment, because I think some kids get turned off, man. Parents push them a little bit or they don't have fun doing it and they keep trying to bring them out, and the kids are like, this place sucks. It's like prison. I don't want to be here anymore. And then they get turned off and then you got nothing, you know? And I think that sucks for a parent. You'd love to be able to just even go public skating the rest of your life with your kids, regardless of playing hockey, you know? So I think it's one of those things where for parents out there, don't feel bad if you're putting your kids in skates at 2 years old. You're not crazy. Like it's fine. You're going to put a stick in their hand, or you're going to put a bike in the under the bum, or you're going to do all this. You're going to expose them to all this other stuff. And who cares? Like have fun with it. If you like hockey, you want to get skates on, go ahead. Don't feel guilty about it.
Yeah. You know? Let them try it. And then they can make their own decisions. But.
Totally. Yeah.
But whatever age you guys start your kids, I'm going to start them earlier. That's what I just got.
Oh, another thing too, you should add to that though too. If your kid's like pretty good at 3 and can like rip around, or pretty good at 4 and just like, you know, starting to get it, or pretty good at 5, or pretty good at 6, or pretty good at 14, pump the brakes.
Yeah. No,
pump the brakes,
100%.
Man. Your kid's not the best kid in Ontario at 7 years old. Like give everyone else a minute and they'll catch them. Just relax, enjoy the moment, have fun. Don't get crazy. Hide the craziness.
You sound like you've had that conversation a few times.
And it's hard, man, as a parent, it's hard because you see like potential in your son or daughter in basketball or swimming, and you're like, man, they're pretty good, you know? It's like, relax. Like, they're young. They're just let them enjoy it, have fun. Last one here was from a gentleman. It was, what was it called? Hockey. Let me just tag this right. Hockey Coach for Life. So this is Hockey Coach for Life on Instagram. It was a question saying, how do you become an NHL skill coach, or how do you get involved at the NHL level, you know, doing skills and things like that? And the answer is, I have no idea. I don't know how that happened.
I'm just hoping you get hurt and then I take your job.
Yeah. I think, and I mean, I think all of us, I think and kind of the way I answered this question personally to this gentleman was, I think using your resources is the best way. So for instance, you know, Max, you played, Kev, you played, you know, guys that coach and guys that are still playing. And so using those resources, or trying to find a way to get those resources. So it could be reaching out on Instagram or reaching out on Twitter to skills coaches, or, you know, I wouldn't go after maybe like Ovechkin or the head coach of an NHL hockey team, but, you know, you can pick some of the guys like myself, who's, you know, just a normal dude that's, you know, doing skills for an NHL team. Like, I think building those relationships a little bit, and then, you know, who knows? My thing was try to get in on volunteering a little bit. Maybe go to a development camp, an NHL development camp, when they have all their prospects in, and that's a good chance to like go push pucks and be a fly on the wall and kind of observe and check this whole thing out. And the biggest piece of this whole thing though is, you know, making those contacts and potentially get an opportunity to even coming to London and working with us for a couple of days, just see what we do, or, you know, how, and get to know us. And then next thing you know, now Johnny can pick up the phone and be like, hey, Blazer, what's going on? Or hey, Kevy, you know, and then that's a relationship. And then something comes up where, oh my God, Washington needs another development guy. And this guy, and Johnny's awesome out of BC. man, hey, would you be interested in coming in for a day or two just to help out? Like, perfect. And that's kind of how that goes. The biggest thing with that though is you need to be good on the ice. Like your skill set needs to be good. Your approach needs to be good. How you address players. And for you guys, I want you guys to answer this quick, but working with NHL guys, we've had a chance in the summer, the last couple of summers to work with NHL guys and higher end guys. How different is that for you guys when you go from working with like a group of 10, 12-year-old AAA players that are very good, and then all of a sudden you're going into maybe 3, 4-year-old kids, which we do, and then an hour later you're on with NHL guys. How does it change? Like, how is it different when you guys approach NHL guys to some of the younger guys?
I think it's, and I was kind of going to talk about this, and it flows into what you're saying, but like, be you, be you. If you teach 4-year-olds one way and then you go to NHL guys, and I know you're going to be teaching them different stuff, but you have your own flavor in the way you teach. Just be you when you're teaching, and don't try to, do these crazy things because you saw them on, you probably see this a lot, especially going to, being with a lot of pro guys. Like, you see this guy and he saw someone on YouTube turn his stick upside down and use it as a pool cue. And you're like, oh, that's not what I do. So just be you. So it doesn't matter who you're going to work with. And I mean, I'll be the first to admit it. Like, going out with pro guys is, especially at the beginning, is a little intimidating. I think you're like,
Sure.
These guys make a lot more than me and shoot the puck harder and whatever. But I think at the end of the day, they need to work on things. They know they need to work on things. And I think that we can help them, not to say that we're better than them by any means, but like we can definitely help them, whether that's them saying, hey, I struggle with this. Okay. So you struggle with rims. Let me throw you rims.
Yeah.
Offer you a little bit of feedback or change up what I'm doing, or, to help you, whatever. But that's, I approach it like I'm there for them, and they're all men, they're old enough. They know what their problems are. Yeah. So just communicate with them and talk to them like they're just regular guys that you're just chatting with. So just, be as confident as you can, and just work with them. You're not working for them. You're working with them.
Yeah.
And I would assume that's probably why you have so many good relationships with the pro guys you work with, because you don't go in there like, everything and your word is the gospel. You're just helping them out. And some of the stuff that you may suggest, they may be like, that feels weird, or that's not for me, whatever. And you're like, yeah, okay, well, let's figure out something that does make sense and that does work for you.
Yeah.
So just working with them, I think, is big. And I think they respect that.
For sure.
Yeah, no, like obviously they're already at that level, right? They've made it there. They've done a lot of good things, right? So if it's more just like fine tuning stuff for them, right? Like there's a few things that we want to, touch on, or, most guys when they come back in the summer, I feel like they have a couple things that they really want to focus on, whether it's their skills coach or their coach told them they need to work on this, or, they're not quite on the power play yet, or, maybe their second PP, they're not getting on that first unit. So they got to work on their one-timers, or, just getting pucks off quick, certain things like that. For me, like, I know all of us, we never played in the NHL, right? But we had that experience where we were at that level. And I know when I first came back and started doing this stuff, I realized how much it could have really helped me when I played. And even like little simple stuff when, first couple sessions of the summer when we're breaking down something simple, I would never think about things that way. I just caught the puck, I shot it, right? I skated as fast as I could up the ice. I never thought about what I was doing, right? And I think sometimes when we think we're being too simple or not communicating enough to them, they're already picking up things, or it might be a little bit of review or reminder to them on some of those things. But I think they do appreciate that stuff just as much as anyone else. And they are pros. So they probably don't get that kind of instruction all the time. They're probably just think they have to know how to do this stuff already. And realistically, some of those kids are 19, 20, 21 years old still. They're, making millions of dollars, but they're still kids. They're still learning. They're still, I think they appreciate it more than we think. And I know it's a lot of fun for us to be out there and to work with them, right? Like who doesn't want to work with the best of the best and, try that high end advanced stuff. So
no, for sure. And I think, both you guys bring up some great points. I think, being who you are, being authentic to who you are. I was just in Hershey. We hired a couple new development guys to help out with like development of the young guys, and it's awesome, which is great. And when we got there, we are kind of just chatting about, what he does on the ice, what I do on the ice. And I said, I don't do like bells and whistles. I'll bring out tools. Don't get me wrong, like sticks over cones or bumpers or passers. They're awesome. All that stuff's great. But coming out and littering the ice, especially your first couple sessions with new guys, potentially like just littering the ice with a bunch of stuff, and like it can get a little bit overwhelming or a little bit, too much. And I also think it's huge when you work with that high level guys and girls that are playing, Olympic team or nationally or college, is to work on things that are going to be applicable to their game and what they want. So like you said, if they come to you and say, hey, there's 3 things I'd like to work on, great. If they don't really know, because some of them, we have guys like, man, whatever, music, doesn't matter. Like, okay. But knowing that player a little bit, like, okay, I play the wall, I play the wing.
Yeah.
All right, you kind of see them wheel a bit. You're like, okay, I can kind of tell. You can tell we've been around long enough. You can tell a player's tendencies, and then knowing, okay, listen, I think you can get your shots off quicker if you don't handle it before you shoot. Or I think, if you put your body in this position right here, when you get the puck off the wall, you're in a way better spot to make a play.
Yeah.
And I think those are like, then when they start doing it, they're like, oh man, that did feel good. Because you get that all the time, right? We're like, oh man, that felt, or hey, how does that feel? Feels weird. Okay, perfect. It should feel weird. And then once they start to get it, like, man, that feels really good. Then validates what you do. And obviously you build that relationship of, they trust what you're saying, obviously. And to your point, Kev, too, on being like a bit of an ego, I think some skills coaches have an ego. Like they think they have secret sauce. Well, there's no secret sauce. We're all teaching hockey. Yeah. Everyone's got their own way of doing it potentially, but no one's, coming outside the box, having any kind of new, crazy, innovative stuff,
Yeah.
But I think it is also important to be creative and be, and try to create not new things, but new drills and new ways of doing things. I think it is cool. And sometimes you watch these Instagram videos and stuff, and I know we knock them all the time, but some stuff's cool. I'm like, that's pretty cool. I'd try that. Or
add it into a drill.
Yeah, some of the stuff is pretty innovative, which is cool. Like, that's good. And I love when people share it. If anyone asks me about skill development, I'll open up and talk about whatever. I love nerding out on skill development and hockey skills and stuff. But I think sharing it is how everyone kind of gets better. And realistically, we're not hiding anything. It's not like we're not, I don't want to teach you how to side stop because I got the best way of teaching it. So I think being able to share and being able to get stuff off other people obviously helps everyone get a little bit better. But yeah, to go back to answer that question quickly, I guess is just kind of tap resources as much as you can and keep working on your own self, like what you can do, your own repertoire of what you got for drills and skills and how you teach them, and keep learning, man. Cause man, when you stop learning or you stop looking for stuff to help you get better, I think you're done. I think that's kind of probably the end of the road. Right. You guys have anything else to add though, as far as like minor hockey stuff or anything that you kind of run into, any nice crazy parent stories or anything like that? I want to end it off with a nice crazy. Yeah. You know what? Actually, I got an email from a gentleman. I'm going to pull this up because this was a good one. How do my glasses look good? His name is Jared Brown, and he was on our website at the National Skill Development Association, and he was looking at a lot of the videos, but his young guy started playing hockey. And I want to tell a story more for the parents out there, because I think it's important. I think a lot of parents are intimidated by hockey and they never played before. They don't want to skate. But anyways, Jared's young guy wanted to play. He'd never skated before. So in August, he started going on the ice a little bit and trying to practice. Well, he started looking at the videos on like forward skating and backward skating and side stopping that we had at the NSDA. And now it's October, and he's like, I'm able to skate. I'm working on backwards crossovers and transitions now. But he sent me this nice long email saying like, thank you so much. Like, this was a life changer. It's changed the bond for my kid and I can go on the ice with him now. Like, it was really, really, really cool. Yeah. I was like, holy, like, it was nice. So we've had other really nice emails from people for sure before, but when I first started doing all these videos and stuff and had you guys help me out with them, one of my goals, one of my things I wanted to do with it was take a player that or a person that never had skated before and have them use the videos to learn how to skate. I never actually did it or documented it, but having an email like that kind of, it kind of validates, sometimes you go through days where it's, your job sucks and long days, and then you get something like that. You're like, okay, this is one of the reasons why you'd like to keep doing this and like to keep, doing the podcast or doing the videos or doing things like that. And so yeah, it was cool, but I thought I wanted to share that because it was a pretty cool email for sure.
I think we take it for granted because we've been on skates our whole lives. It's hard.
Yeah, for sure. It's hard.
You know what I mean? We're talking about working with NHL players, and we never played, but like we can handle ourselves okay. We take it for granted. Like it's
for sure.
And so good for you.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And we work with, we do adult programs where we work with adults at all different levels, and tell me how cool it, like, love the kids and they're awesome, but like how cool is it to work with an adult that has a genuine appreciation for like, oh man, I can stop both ways.
Yeah.
I can raise the puck.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
It's so much harder for them to pick up.
When you think of like young kids, they could pick it up no problem. Fall get up.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd have a hard time starting something brand new right now.
For sure. Yeah.
Good for
definitely.
them.
Yeah. So I think it was really, really cool to get that kind of, not even validation, but get a cool testimony like that from someone.
Yeah, that's
like, and the reason I wanted to bring it up is more for other parents out there that are maybe listening, or maybe a friend, somebody that's got a kid who's playing and they've never played before. Get out there, man. Try it out. Get a pair of rollerblades. Go in a park at night when no one's around and just, try it out if you're embarrassed about what it's going to look like, But I think it's important for, whether it's volleyball, whatever it is, basketball, try new things, man. And especially if your kids are into it, definitely, there's nothing better than going on the ice with your kids if you're public skating and you're going to cruise around with them and stuff like that. It's so fun to just have that opportunity to hang out on a Saturday for an hour or two and, go do something kind of just with your son or daughter and kind of have some fun with it. Right. So it's been good.
Good job, bud.
Thanks, bud. Again, guys, thanks a lot for coming in. And what we'll do, I want to do this again. I'm going to try to get this out on Monday, and then I'll put it out again to try to get some more questions, because I think it's always cool when you get a little bit of interaction with some people and stuff like that. But thanks a lot. And
those are some good questions.
That was great.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right, buddy. See you, boys.
See ya.
Okay.